Ahora y recibe tu Max Calori.
Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world. You are watching Now Media Television.
Welcome to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, entrepreneur, investor, and business strategist. Why are we here? Because I believe that iron sharpens iron. And when we come together with experts and other entrepreneurs to share what's working in business and even some of what's not, what we are able to do is learn and grow. As a result, our businesses flourish, and the ripple effect impacts not only ourselves, our families, our teams, and their families, but also our communities and our world. I am really excited to be here with you today. I have a very special guest who's going to drill down into all the things that we talk about fairly regularly here, but with actionable items. Stephanie Shore is an optimal health coach. She is an expert in the space. She's an expert in allowing us to become peak human performers so that we can absolutely be the best that we can be to lead our companies and to grow. Steph, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much. This is exciting. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. I've been trying to coordinate our schedules for quite some time because one of the things that we talk about a lot on the show is we're investors and entrepreneurs. Time management is a huge struggle for us. You are that. You're an entrepreneur, you're an investor, you're a mover and a shaker. You speak all over the world. How do you manage your time in a way that you're able to continue growing your business?
I would say I'm 72 and a half years old right now. And what I found is that you have to make sure your health is in control. You have to spend time focusing on what you're doing. What are your habits? Are you feeling good? Do you have any issues? And I would start with sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, sleep is kind of a foundation. You can start there and try to increase the amount of sleep. Sleep is when your body repairs. And another thing is to stop eating 3 hours before you go to sleep so your body isn't confused and has to do with digestion while it should be repairing your cells. And exercise is hugely important. If you're not moving, I know I have clients who sit in front of a laptop for 16 hours a day. Our bodies are not designed for that. So if you're a sedentary person, I would say at least several minutes in every hour, get up and move around. And if you can't, at least like get up on your toe under your desk, and bring your leg up and down. And even that is kind of pumping your blood. Our circulation is so important. I can go on for this entire session, but I mean,
so what I'm hearing is
there's
you're able to manage your time.
Nutrition is huge as well. Any one of these you want to talk about, I can go on for days.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'm hearing is your time management is really energy management, and how you do that is you start with your foundation of sleep and you add movement on top of it so that you're energized. So let me ask you, let's start with sleep, okay? Sleep hygiene. You talked about stopping eating 3 hours before going to bed so that you can optimally restore during sleep. What are some other sleep hygiene habits? Because one of the things that entrepreneurs inquire a lot about, I get emails all the time from the show, and they're like, I can't turn my brain off when I go to bed. How do you manage that? Or what do you recommend for those who can't stop thinking enough to get themselves wound down for bed?
I'm really glad you said that because I'm actually having that issue right now because I'll get so excited about something. I want to finish it before I go to sleep. And then all of a sudden it's 11 and maybe I have a 8 a.m. meeting, but I'm on the West Coast and that's 5 a.m. So now I'm already in trouble with the amount of sleep that I want. I would recommend meditation, and a really simple meditation is just, if you've never meditated before, is to just breathe in and count to 4, hold it for maybe 2, and then exhale for 4. And while you're doing that, and all these thoughts are crowding into your mind, try to let them just float out the other side. Just say, I'll deal with that later. And finally, you'll reach a place where your mind is a little more clear. And I'll fall asleep if I'm in that state of just breathing and trying to focus on not nothingness, but just kind of like a calm state and not letting all the details of our lives. We're so busy. Our personal universes are so full. And it's really amazing to me. I mean, we're in a position in the history of time where we can do so many things. We can get so much information. We can be involved in so much. It's kind of overwhelming, and we need to like stop, take a breath, and calm down and let the body, kind of like when you charge your phone or you recharge anything. And also, I think, I'm very involved in energy medicine now, and I have something called a beamer. And the beamer, excuse me, is pulsed electromagnetic field. And that's also something that's very relaxing. It's a mat, and it delivers a very low intensity charge to every cell in your body, giving it more oxygen, which produces more ATP. That's another, I actually use that every night, and I usually fall asleep for the 8 minutes, an 8-minute treatment morning and night, and it's very relaxing. So you can do meditation, you can do the high tech and things like Beamer. There's so much available to us.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up. I actually have a Beamer too. I've been beaming for a couple years now, and it has been
like the verb.
Yeah, it's critical. I travel with it because I don't sleep well the first night anywhere. If I'm like at a conference or whatnot, that first night in a hotel, I'm hearing all the things. It's not natural, but that Beamer definitely does help me with the relaxation. And I just want to kind of review like what Steph was saying about meditation. Really, it could just be deep breathing, but when you're counting the breaths and you're counting your inhale and you're counting your exhale, what happens is all those other things in our head kind of get pushed out because we're focused on the counting. And over time, your body is able to relax. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that because you said it, and I think you brought a whole lot of things to bear. But if you're watching this and you're like that entrepreneur or that executive that can't turn your brain off, the easiest thing to do is to count your inhales, your hold, and your exhales and bring yourself down and be present, because that helps us to kind of, I call it, I close out the browsers of my brain when I do that. Like
that's good.
I'm not even playing. I'll have 56 browsers open on my laptop at any given time because I'm always researching things and doing a bazillion things. And I have to close them all out and shut my computer down. So it's no different with our brains, our own brains. We have to kind of close out the browsers, and that focused breathing is so critical. I actually do it while I'm on the Beamer, and then like I literally just roll over and pass out.
Exactly. I often fall asleep on it. Luckily, it turns itself off.
Yep. Thank goodness for small favors. So now that we've talked about,
and I found the Beamer also, it actually delivers a lot more oxygen to the blood, and it enables the cell to do its job and heal. And it does a lot of healing in the body after it enables the cells to do things for the body, is what I'm saying. It improves your circulation, especially in your microcapillaries, where 75% of our blood is, something I never knew till recently. And it doesn't move as well as the rest of the blood in the body sometimes. So that's another way of, I think, getting optimal health is to give your circulation is your river in your body, and everything really needs to flow.
Yeah, absolutely. And something else that really comes to me very strongly, because before we talk sleep, we were talking about movement, that microcirculation is incredibly important. And when we're sitting at a desk all day long, something that we could be doing is just pumping our ankles, pumping our heels and our toes so that circulation continues throughout the day. But let's talk about that now. So we have a foundation of sleep. We're getting enough sleep. What is enough sleep, Steph?
Everyone's different. For most, it's 8 hours. I know, I see how you feel. When I have 8 hours of sleep, or 9, which is a huge gift, I feel amazing. If I have 6, I feel okay by the time I have my coffee. I'm fine. Less than 6, I'm struggling a little, but I still get through the day. If I stay up all night, which is very rare these days, I used to be able to do it in my 20s a whole lot better than I can now. It seems to be a bigger cost now, but your body will let you know. If you listen to your body, it tells you pretty quickly if you're doing what it needs. And I think that's part of the thing is we were never really taught to respond to the needs of our body, like our microbiome, these trillions of organisms in our gut, that if we feed them what they want and we give them a hospitable environment, we'll stay pretty healthy. But if we trash them and eat highly processed foods all the time and too much sugar and not enough sleep and not enough hydration, everything, we suffer, and the outcomes over time as we get older will pay for it. So it's really amazing how much of it is up to us.
Yeah, absolutely, Steph. And like when we're sleeping, that helps us restore. And so if we're waking up, I always like, just to kind of give an idea to our viewers, like when I know I've gotten the right amount of sleep, when I wake up and I'm energized and I'm ready to hit the ground running, that means I got good amount of sleep, like quantity, and good quality of sleep. So like that's kind of my golden standard. And you're right, we're not taught to listen to our body, so we're just kind of guessing all the time. But if you're struggling with that piece, that's the first piece. Steph says, get your sleep in order. Stop eating 3 hours before bed. Do some deep breathing before bed to kind of break it down. If you're a high-tech person and you're interested in Beamer, we can talk about that later on and how you can get more information on that. So once our sleep is in order, Steph, what's the next thing to focus on?
And I would say this is kind of even almost with the sleep is hydration. A lot of people, when they look at how much water they're drinking, it's not really enough for their bodies. And most people do best with, if you take your body weight, say 150 pounds, you take half of that, and that's how many ounces of water for most people is a good amount. And again, everyone's different. You have to kind of find your way. Our health quests are very bio-individual. But for most people, 75 ounces of water, and I'm not going to do the math in my head right now because I'm sure I might mess it up, but I find I try to drink at least 3 quarts of water a day, something like that. And not with food either, because especially if you're a little older, you're diluting your digestive juices and enzymes. So you want to drink more between meals or before meals or after, maybe an hour after, and just maybe sip during meals so you don't dilute the digestive juices.
Yeah, that's so
fascinating.
fascinating.
That's next. So, and then nutrition. When I owned a gym for 12 years, I thought exercise was 60% of what your health was, or 70%. And the trainer that was my partner said, no, you're totally wrong. It's what you eat is 90%. And honestly, I guess he's right, because in your 20s, when you're kind of in that immortal phase, nature wants you to reproduce. You can get away with a lot of dietary debacles. Over time, it doesn't work out as well. I think that you have to be more careful and considerate of what you're putting in your body. So I would say hydration is hugely important, and diet. I think everything, they're kind of like pillars of health. You want to kind of have all of them something you're conscious of. You don't want to become obsessed with it. It's kind of easy to get, preoccupied with it. So my mantra is you do the best you can. You don't want to be, I've become in my past obsessive with where I ate or what I ate. And it's not fun for yourself or the people around you. So honestly, we have so many choices. Again, in history, no one has ever had this much food around them, I don't think. Maybe the ancient Romans did. But here we are, and the choices we have a lot of times are not in our best interest. So that's what we have to do. We have to get educated. We need to read labels. I can go into details on that if you want to. But it's important what we're putting in our bodies.
Absolutely. We do have to take a brief break, but we will be right back after these messages.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, refrigeration, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Hi, my name is Michelle Merhar. You may remember me from the morning news. I'd like to tell you how getting data and documents into action fast gives you a competitive edge. Digital-first thinking to manage document workflows efficiently are giving all organizations a competitive edge. In fact, digital document automation is an essential process, helping us to become more profitable and to compete. By making any process paperless with secure automation, decisions can be made efficiently, virtually from anywhere. You'll be able to find and share documents securely in seconds. Your staff will be empowered by making optimal use of every office hour. And by the way, the size of your organization doesn't matter. Precision Products has been helping organizations for more than 30 years with paper to digital processes, including scanning systems for any document to premises and cloud document management systems. We make it easy and scalable for your business process needs from the office or other locations, even mobile devices. Contact us to see how we can help your organization succeed. Contact Will Waterall direct at 713-446-5939 and visit us on the web at precisionproductsinc.com.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back to Power CEO's Truth Behind the Business. We are here with Steph Shore. She is an optimal health coach, and she works with high-performing entrepreneurs and executives. Steph, before the break, we talked a lot about sleep and sleep hygiene and how sleep is the foundation of our health. And if we don't sleep as entrepreneurs or we don't get enough sleep, we have brain fog, we don't make the right decision the first time, we have slow speed of implementation and impacts our business. So once we have the foundation of sleep, we were talking about hydration and kind of the rules of thumb for hydration. And right before the break, we ended on nutrition. And I want to kind of talk a little bit about nutrition because you said garbage in, garbage out for all intensive purposes. And that we want to be keyed into that. As entrepreneurs, it is really hard for us. We're doing a lot of things. Sometimes we're traveling a lot. How do we manage the nutrition when we have a busy lifestyle and or we're traveling?
I would say maybe a good rule of thumb is to watch the sugar intake. Because sugar is the new devil. It used to be fat, and we all went to low fat, and we didn't have good results from that. Obesity went up, heart disease skyrocketed. As it turns out, sugar is really the problem. And carbs turn to sugar. We eat too many grains. Think about, cows and pigs. They're fed grains to fatten them up. The same thing happens to us. We're really not designed to eat a lot of grains. As delicious as they are, as addictive as they are, I find that if I eat something in the morning that's a high carb, even oats, I'm looking for carb the whole rest of the day. If I can, I do intermittent fasting now. I'll have my first meal at about noon, and I try to have my last meal at like 7, go to sleep at 10. I find that that stands me in good stead. If I can keep the grains on the low side, I don't have cravings late at night either. And I think that's something. The sugar is very addictive. They did an experiment with rats, and when they could have cocaine or heroin or sugar, they went for the sugar. So that's pretty telling.
Absolutely. And so as we think about this and we think about watching our labels and watching our sugar intake, it comes down to planning, just like we do in business, right? We plan out our business week. Maybe we need to be a little bit more diligent on planning how we're going to fuel our bodies. So do you have any tips that you use with clients, especially the entrepreneurs and executives that you work with, that have really helped them to kind of dial in that nutrition and have that plan so that they don't have to think about it? They just go and they grab what it is that's going to fuel their body?
I ask them to try maybe one day a week to start, to have breakfast an hour later. And then maybe the next week, 2 days, and then start having it so they're not eating. You need to have enough time for your body to digest. And 3 meals a day plus snacks is really more than we need. Our bodies are always in digestive mode. So we need to have like a little space where our body is going through the whole and if they're interested in fasting, I try to guide them with that. And anything I say, I need to preface this with, every person needs to go over this with their medical professional. Everything that I say is based on my experience and anecdotal. I'm not a medical professional, but I can tell you what I've had success with. And one thing I've had a lot of success with is to try to get people to have one day a week without any grain and see if they can do that. It's pretty difficult. Or maybe just one piece of maybe sourdough bread. Sourdough bread, I think, is the least harmful of all the breads because it has that culture in it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like almost, now I'm losing the word, it has a fermentation that the body loves. Again, you're feeding these gut buddies in your gut, and the gut it's kind of like you're in charge of a huge condominium, and the organisms living there, they want to have a nice house to live, and they'll take care of it if you give it the right ingredients. The best ingredients are things like salad and vegetables and proteins from, maybe, well, that's a whole nother subject. I'm not sure I can even talk about that lightly, but to not have a lot of things that are highly processed, you can start there. To try to eliminate the ultra high processed foods and eat more whole foods, things that had less preparation, less additives. That's a good way to, now when traveling, that's a whole nother subject. So when I travel and I'm going out to dinner, I'll try to have a salad and a little bit of protein. And I'll do the best I can wherever I am. I try to eat in a nice restaurant, so it's not something that was made on a fryer. Deep fried is not always your friend. So the way cooking is also really important. Try to have things baked or roasted rather than fried or charcoal grilled, if possible.
Yeah, and I travel a lot as well, and so it's always a little bit of a challenge, but a lot of places have healthy options, and I just want to say this because while it's top of mind, a lot of times it might not be on the menu. It may be like covered in all the things on the menu. You can always ask for them to prepare it, with less fat or in a different way, or hold the dressing or whatever that looks like for you. So it's become a lot more commonplace for you to be able to ask for those adjustments. And before we leave the fuel your body, one of the biggest things, I'm a business coach, so I work with entrepreneurs, and they have like a 3 p.m. slump. Like we all have this, but when we look at it and we look at when they're eating, it's usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours after they eat their lunch meal. Is there something from a nutrition standpoint that we can do, or something that we can do as entrepreneurs when we hit that slump? Because a lot of times it might be a blood sugar crash or something else. Like, how can we re-energize so we can power through the rest of our day?
I used to have that same thing, and I don't have it at all anymore. And I think part of it is I eat less carbs at lunch, at least starchy carbs. I'll eat a lot of carb in the form of vegetables and salad and things like that, and maybe some low sugar fruits. But basically, a big lunch with a couple slices of pizza, you're going to have a sugar drop. That's that slump. And I've also found that since I've been using the Beamer, I haven't had the energy slump. And I think that the third thing is I'm taking a vitamin protocol. I'm not sure if you're in your 20s if this is appropriate for you, but I'm not sure if, for the younger generation it's as important. But as you get older, you produce less NAD. And I take something that was recommended by Dr. David Sinclair at Harvard. His protocol includes NMN, which is a precursor for NAD, plus resveratrol, plus TMG. And you can Google Dr. David Sinclair. He's all over the internet. I found that I don't have any energy slump at all now. And I think it's that combined with the Beamer is why my energy is all day long now, which is incredible. I didn't expect that at 72.
Yeah. Absolutely, and you're a mover and a shaker. So if it's working for you, then obviously there's some benefit to it. So, and I know anything here is not medical advice. You must consult your medical professional here. But this is really about how do we become the highest performing human being in our business? Because when we take care of our sleep and our hydration and our movement and our nutrition, what we're able to do is we're able to fuel our body and be like the best version of ourselves, as high performing as possible. Because one of the things I hear a lot from entrepreneurs is they really grow, they scale their business, they're doing phenomenal on that side of things, and then they have a health scare and that knocks you out. And like the reality stuff is we have one body, we're only given one body, we have one body in which we live, and if we don't take care of it, trust me, sickness will force us to take care of it.
Absolutely.
So when we're thinking about this, we're very busy. How can we begin the process? Like, what is one habit, one action step that people can take today that will start to take care of their bodies so that we can build towards health?
I would do blood work. Find out what's going on in your blood. That's a good indicator. Work with a doctor, find someone who will work with you on that, and see what is your fat profile, your lipid profile look like? And what is your fasting insulin? People do not test that. They test their glucose level, but your blood can only handle a certain amount of glucose anyway, and then you're going to be in trouble. The elephant in the room is the insulin. So I would check that out. You need to do screenings maybe once a year and check your blood. That's what I would say.
Okay, fantastic. Know where you are, know what your baseline is, and go from there. I think that's sound advice. Thank you for that, Steph. So tell me, you're doing a lot of things. You're traveling a lot. You're doing the best that you can on your like, what happens when you fall off the wagon? How do you get back on?
I fall off the wagon. I have a lot of, I'm doing pretty well. I'm very healthy, but I do have more than I would like to admit dietary debacles. My dietary debacles start at one of the meetings that I'm fortunate to see you at so often. When we check in these hotels, they all have Starbucks in the lobby, and Starbucks mochas are kind of that's my jam. But I have them with half the pumps, but still it's a lot of calories. And I say I'm intermittent fasting, but I still am getting some sugar. And it's only a matter of time before I succumb to maybe having one chocolate croissant, because I don't know when our lunch is going to be, that kind of thing. So that's my biggest challenge, is abstaining from that. But what I will carry, sometimes I will find coconut yogurt and I'll put those 3 vitamins I was talking about in them. And then I'll have the mocha or I'll have coffee. But I would say traveling, it's so easy. I'll be fine for 2 days and then I'll slip into my travel mode. So it's a challenge. It's a lifelong challenge, a lifelong health quest.
I think the moral of the story is no one here is expecting anyone to be perfect. We're not perfect. I have the same challenges. I go to Starbucks when we're at all of these conferences and stuff as well, because I don't sleep as well. So I want the coffee or whatever it is. And then when I get home, I have to almost detox from all the sugar because I really don't eat sugar.
Exactly. It's a detox.
But the reality is it's about habit stacking. It's about building the habits that make us feel good. And then when we travel, like I find when I travel, if I do that, when I go to eat, I want to eat more vegetables because my body feels not the same when I'm not eating whole foods. So I think the best thing for us as entrepreneurs is we want to know like what works for us, figure out what works for us and allows us to be peak human performers. And then when we fall off the wagon, have a little grace with ourselves and say, okay, yeah, I'm traveling. I get it. Like sometimes you travel and the only vegetables are mac and cheese and corn. So.
Yeah, and that definitely doesn't bode well long term. But I'm finding like when you go to a restaurant, you can find out what vegetables they cook with the entrees and how are they prepared. I mean, I'm not afraid to ask questions. I don't want a cream sauce on my spinach. That kind of ruins it for me. I don't really like it anyway, luckily. But I'd rather have spinach plain with a little olive oil. And that's another thing. That's a whole nother subject. But a lot of restaurants cook everything in vegetable oil. Vegetable oil is pretty inflammatory in the body compared to olive oil. So if you have an option, try to get them to use olive oil or to bring you olive oil and you can put it on yourself. I do that with salads. I usually get the dressing on the side. I don't know if they use a prepared dressing. That has a whole lot of ingredients I don't want in my food. I would prefer olive oil or not even, maybe even just a little bit of lemon juice will work. And that's really you can do those little things as you travel to kind of, improve where you are.
Yep. Mischief manage. I call it managing the mischief. We do
That's
have to take a
well
brief
put.
break, but we will be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. If you're just tuning in, you're going to want to go to nowmedia.tv, click on shows, go to Power CEOs, and get the first half of this show. Why? We are talking with Steph Shore, who is an optimal health coach. She works with executives and entrepreneurs so they can be peak human performing in their body, the best health that they can be, so they can bring their best selves to their businesses so that you have clarity of thought, you're able to make the right decision the first time, you're able to have speed of implementation because your body is peak performing. And so you don't want to miss what we've already talked about. We talked about sleep, how to improve our sleep, how to get our brain shut down if we're thinking about all the things so that we can get our sleep in. We talked about hydration. We dove into nutrition. And we kind of talked a little bit about movement, but Steph, I really want to dive into this movement piece because so many times the place where we fall off the wagon as entrepreneurs is in getting our movement, our daily movement in, because we may have 16 hours of meetings back to back to back to back. How can we, as executives and entrepreneurs who have a very busy packed schedule, many times sedentary, how can we get little movement minutes in through the day? How can we make sure that we're moving our body in a way that keeps our blood flowing, that keeps us energized, and that gives us what we need from a health standpoint?
Those are great questions. Let me tell you what I suggest. For one thing, if you're sitting in front of your laptop for so many hours, you can go off camera and you can just stand up and sit down 10 times. That's almost like a squat. And if you can do it unassisted, even better. If you need to assist yourself at first because if you're really out of shape, no problem. Just use your hands to, help push yourself up and sit back down. That's one thing you can do. I would recommend getting your heart rate up at least 5 times within the day. And that should be your baseline. So you can get up and sit down 5 times. Then you can do an upper body thing where just put your arms up in front of you like this and open and close. And you do that 10 times. That'll get your upper body going too. And for your neck, because everyone's kind of I call it a C curve, where you're leaning into your devices. Make sure your posture is really good. That's another subject we can talk about, Jen. But make sure you're sitting up straight, hold your core tight, and then you can actually bring your upper body up and then down towards your hips, like up and down and up and down. And now you're kind of pumping your core muscles, and I actually had a nurse who worked with me, and she swore that she got iron core muscles. She did it all the time. So you can just pump the core muscles. I would recommend being off camera for this. You probably very confuse the other viewers, but things like that. When you get up to get a glass of water, do some wall push-ups. I can demonstrate that sometime for you if you want. There's so many things you can do. It's just about getting that heart rate up, help your body pump the blood to your extremities. And that toe pump, When people first came, well, when they first were doing studies with that, they said, oh, you can improve your heart health. Yeah, if you do it for 4 hours, which is kind of unrealistic. But you can do it for a little while, and it's something you can do while you're on camera, and no one even sees it. Another thing is just isometric. Hold everything in your body tight for as long for like can count to 10. That's an exercise. So there's a lot of things you can do.
Yeah, I really like that you brought up the posture. And so what I'm hearing is every hour, if you're in meetings, do some things. If you're in a boardroom, you can do your ankle pumps. You can do some little marches in your seat, and nobody is any wiser because it's happening beneath the table or beneath the desk. So there's some things, just get your body moving every hour. So let's go to the posture conversation, because I don't know if you know this, but my background, I'm a physical therapist by trade. I spent 20 years in sports medicine, and posture and ergonomics is a big thing, and we see it in athletes. When you're a runner, you're all forward, but in business, what are we doing? Everything's here. We're typing, we're in the desk, we're leaning into our computer. So talk to me a little bit about ergonomics. What are some things we can do as entrepreneurs and executives where we can improve our posture throughout the day?
So you can check your posture just by rolling your shoulders up, back, and down. And that's how you should be. And it's kind of hard to hold that. We're not used to that. You can get a posture corrector on Amazon for like $16. And it's like a strap thing that goes around, and it will show you exactly how you should be. And also, your head should be like looking straight out. And we're all looking down. You know, we're all looking down at our devices. And that's curving our spines a little bit in a way that it's not optimal health, you know, for your very best health. And when you think about it, you don't want to be compressed, like leaning down, because your organs are, you know, it's not giving them enough room. When your posture is correct, everything flows better, I think, throughout your body.
Well, and not only that, you know, if we're speaking, for example, we're presenting to a room, like I'm gonna do the bad posture thing. Like anybody who knows me knows that this is not me, but when you're here, this is all you can project. I literally can't get it out because I'm compressed. But like when I sit up, right, I roll my shoulders back. And then you can hear me so much better because I'm able to actually fully project. My lungs can fill fully. I can use diaphragmatic breathing. And so when we're presenting in front of a room, posture matters. Executive presence matters. And when we're able to have that, we function better, like as a human. But not only that, we're able to project, and we're able to really engage the room because we're not stuck here trying to like push the air out.
I realized as you were doing that, it's about maximizing your functionality, like how we're designed to speak. We're not designed to speak crunched over in front of a device. We're designed to be tall and proud and like speaking out. So that's very valuable too.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything that you have brought us has been so key. We've talked about posture. We've talked about ergonomics. We've talked about getting up and moving. Turn the camera off for 5 minutes and just move around a bit each hour so that we're getting the blood flowing. And all of these things are important, and you may be thinking, yeah, I've heard this a million times, but the reality is, are you doing it? So this show is all about taking action, staff, and we've given them a lot of value, but what are some things that today they can start doing today that's going to move them forward when it comes to movement and posture? What would you say to do?
Eliminate junk food, cut back on sugar, eat more whole foods, drink enough water, start moving a little bit. And it doesn't even have to be for 5 whole minutes. It can be for 1 minute. It can be for 2 minutes. Anything you do, it's cumulative. So if you do 1 minute here and then you do 2 minutes there, and then you're going to find something that's really fun to do, and then you'll probably do that a lot. So it's all about, you know, you're exploring the way you respond. And what you'll find is the more movement you do, the more energy you have. That's a really big part of it for me. If I don't exercise, and believe me, it's not hard to sink back into a couch potato kind of mode. And once you do that, it's really hard to get out. It takes a lot of effort to start. But once you start, something happens. It kind of carries you a little bit. The body really responds well, and that feels good. And that kind of incents people to do it, you know, to keep exercising. They have to watch out because sometimes you get addicted to that. You know, you have to find the Goldilocks zone in everything. Not too much, not too little, just find the right spot, and it's different for everyone. So this is our gift, is that we have these bodies that can carry us through our lives in a healthy way or an unhealthy way. It's a lot of it is up to us.
And so, Steph, I mean, I know you work with several people. Is there an app? Is there like what is a resource that people can go to that maybe they can start have some sort of accountability? Like, what does that look like? I'm going to say get a coach because I'm a coach. You're a coach. We'll talk about coaching in a minute. But if they're at home and they're just starting this journey, is there a resource that's out there that they can go and start the process?
If they're readers, if they like to read or even have an Audible, I would recommend Dr. Stephen Gundry's Plant Paradox book because he gives you a blueprint of how to restart your whole digestion, how to really look at food in your life, which again, we're talking 90% of our health is tied up in our diet, according to most experts. I'm still pushing a little on the exercise, but start there, examine what you're eating, examine how you feel. Your body tells you pretty quickly if you screwed up when you eat something. Maybe you've noticed.
Oh, absolutely. I always look at it like this. I told my daughter this a while ago when she wasn't sure if she was having food issues, and I'm like, you kind of know, like, eliminate things, and when you add it back, and all of a sudden you've got bloating or gas or like something that you haven't had. Like, you know that food was a direct relation. Like, I know I can't do a lot of wheat and bread, and gluten is not my friend, and soy is not my friend. I'm allergic to it. I break out in hives. Like, that's a pretty easy thing to see. But,
right.
You know, the resultant feelings and all, we're taught to just eat everything on your plate and not tune into our bodies. But our bodies are, like, we're the greatest lab experiment ever. We can literally tell by just tweaking one thing, just change one variable, and then all of a sudden you can see, do you feel more energetic? Do you feel less energetic? And like we can play, like it's a place where we can actually play and have fun with what works best for our bodies. So I really like that you brought that up. And then before we break again, because we do have to break for commercial in a moment, Steph, coaching. What is the real benefit of having a coach when it comes to the health side of things?
I think it's having an accountability partner, someone who's there for you when you falter or you don't know what to do next, and someone who really cares. I mean, if you were my client, your success is my success. You know, I'm successful if I can help you, and that makes me really happy.
And, you know, as a coach, and I'm in the business coaching sense of the word, I see the same thing, right? We can set goals, like everybody sets a health goal. Everybody sets a health New Year's resolution to lose weight or to get in shape or whatever, and they all fall off the bandwagon unless they have that accountability partner. So I think it's incredibly important. And not only that, like I also find that we're able to break it down into small steps because people will look at it and try to do all the things, and that's overwhelming. And we can't change all of our habits at once. It's completely unrealistic. But with coaching, and correct me if I'm wrong, with coaching, we're able to like tackle it one thing at a time, and just maybe it's starting with hydration and getting the hydration up, and then we're gonna maybe we're gonna eat a green vegetable, which we haven't done in a while. Like it's like a one thing at a time. Is that what you find as well?
I think it's an easier way to do it because we're so busy, and to take 10 new things to do is a recipe for failure. I think it's just too much, and I think we're too hard on ourselves too. We're very self-critical a lot of the time. So I would say maybe to start paying attention to your habits and see where needs the most attention, you know, and I would start there. Like if you only get 4 hours of sleep and you know, some people like JT Fox can pull that off, but not everyone can. So examine your lifestyle and see where you think you want to start. I guess you could start there. And if you don't know, look at the water first.
Yeah,
look
absolutely.
At the water
I
first.
think we're chronically dehydrated as a people too. We do have to take a brief break, but we'll be right back after these messages.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2727 2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Hi, my name is Michelle Merhar. You may remember me from the morning news. I'd like to tell you how getting data and documents into action fast gives you a competitive edge. Digital-first thinking to manage document workflows efficiently are giving all organizations a competitive edge. In fact, digital document automation is an essential process, helping us to become more profitable and to compete. By making any process paperless with secure automation, decisions can be made efficiently, virtually from anywhere. You'll be able to find and share documents securely in seconds. Your staff will be empowered by making optimal use of every office hour. And by the way, the size of your organization doesn't matter. Precision Products has been helping organizations for more than 30 years with paper to digital processes, including scanning systems for any document to premises and cloud document management systems. We make it easy and scalable for your business process needs from the office or other locations, even mobile devices. Contact us to see how we can help your organization succeed. Contact Will Waterall direct at 713-446-5939 and visit us on the web at precisionproductsinc.com.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back to Power CEOs, The Truth Behind the Business. We are here with Steph Shore. She is an optimal health coach. She works with executives and entrepreneurs to really up-level their health and their peak human performance so that they can perform better in everything they do in business. And we lead from the front, Steph. We've had a lot of conversations about how do we manage, what happens when we fall off the wagon. We have coaches, why have coaches, and so much more. And in the break, we were talking about what is that absolute first step, and I believe you have a self-assessment available. How can people reach out and take this assessment so they can kind of figure out where their starting point is?
Thank you so much for asking. On my website, livethehealthyouwant.com, there's a free self-assessment you can take. And as soon as you can fill it out, you can submit it. You can even put a little video on it if you want to talk about more. or you can write something. And when you submit it, a copy will come right back to you as well. So that's a good first place to start. We've talked about a lot of different things you can do. I would recommend starting with where you feel you're lacking the most. Like if you're not doing any exercise, then movement I would consider first. And if your diet is full of processed food and so many snacks, maybe start thinking about eliminating a little of that. We have so many options to get healthier, and my self-assessment will show you the different areas in which we can look at, and maybe you can assess yourself. Reach out to me for more help if you need it. I would love to help.
Absolutely. And that was at
livethehealthyouwant.com.
livethehealthyouwant.com. Got it. And so livethehealthyouwant.com, if you want to take Steph's self-assessment, it's an excellent start. And start in the place that I like to think of health as a tire, right? And if you put your spokes, like maybe there's the movement spoke, and then there's the nutrition spoke, and sleep and hydration, like whatever part of your tire is the flattest, we want to like resuscitate that and add a little bit of tire pressure.
Absolutely,
so
because
just to make
we're
sure,
the whole picture.
Yeah, the whole picture.
We're the whole picture.
And whatever area that is in your self-assessment, take one action. If it's movement, put a little bit of movement into your day. Maybe take 5 minutes or a minute each hour while you're sitting. If it's hydration, start paying attention to that. But figure out where you are and where you can up level. And if you're already doing a lot of these things and you know that there's more to go, pick where you tend to procrastinate. Because one of the things that I find in business, and I know it happens in health as well, Steph, is we procrastinate the things that we really don't want to do or that's harder for us. And those are the areas where coaching really helps. So do you see that in health as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would say 90% of it's in the diet, honestly. And it's not even our fault. And people need to stop feeling guilty. It's really what's been presented to us. So you can start by saying, this is not my fault, but what do I do?
Yep. I love it, but what do I do? And you know, what I heard is the processed foods is one of the worst things. So shop the perimeter of the grocery store, they like to say, the produce, the meats, the things that are not already prepackaged and coming in a box, because usually that has a lot of extra ingredients. Like if we're going to go, because we're busy and we're executives, we're entrepreneurs, we're very busy. We have very busy lives. Sometimes we're also moms and whatever else on the side. What is a good rule of thumb when we are out? How many ingredients? If something has more than X ingredients, we should put it down and pick something else up. Like what do you use as a rule of thumb?
Do you mean when shopping for food or eating in a restaurant?
When shopping for food. Mm-hmm.
It's a challenge. It is a complete challenge. One thing I look for is vegetable oil in a product, and I won't buy it. Vegetable oil is highly inflammatory. So you want to look, the oils that I believe are healthy is like olive oil, sesame oil, maybe a little bit of avocado oil. And there's something called perilla oil that's used in a lot of Asian cooking that has omega-3s in it. This is a whole nother subject, but I would look for things like that. I would watch the things that you can't pronounce. I would say 3 ingredients, that's pretty good. And a problem is if you're in most grocery stores, you're not going to find very much, although it is getting better. I remember being in Colorado in the 90s, and I could not find one popcorn that didn't have some kind of awful oil in it. I almost had a rant in the middle of the store. But now it's a lot better. I would suggest sticking with, if you're shopping, stick with fresh fruits, hopefully more low sugar, like apples and pears. Grapes and pineapple are kind of high sugar. And bananas, I would have those if you have them early in the day. And not too many fruits in a day, then you're getting too much sugar too. I would suggest vegetables are our best friend, pretty much. And a lot of greens, fresh greens. Hopefully you live somewhere where they grow them, that's even better. Try to do organic. We have a lot of chemicals in our food. Our bodies aren't really designed to handle that.
Absolutely. So thank you for that. And I'm with you. If I can't pronounce it, I don't put it in my hair, I don't put it on my skin, and I don't put it inside my body. Of course, when we're out to eat, we don't have that, but from a planning and a prep standpoint, that's definitely something I do. So, well, if we were going to leave everyone today with this is the most important thing that you can do for yourself. We've already taken the health assessment. We've already got some first steps. What would you say it is so that they can show up and be their best and lead from the front in their organizations from a healthy body standpoint for their teams and employees?
I would say don't be too hard on yourself when you're doing this. Try to be objective and observe your habits and what you're doing and find out where you think is the most deserving of attention. Is it sleep? Is it lack of exercise? You'll know. I mean, if you're honest with yourself, it's pretty obvious. And if it's 3 things, pick the one that you can do that's easier for you to tackle right away. Because again, we are so busy, we're bombarded with information all day long. It's overwhelming. So we have to have time for ourselves, for our self-love, our health, our self-care, because I saw the sign in a doctor's office when I was about 20. If you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live?
That's a great sign. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I like that you brought up start with the thing that's the easiest, because what that is that's your forward momentum, and we talk about that a lot on this show. It's what is the momentum? We have to do something today, right now, to create that forward momentum, so that everything else just sort of we overcome that initial inertia, and once that first thing, that easy thing is done, that becomes part of who we are. It's easier to add the next thing because we've already seen that forward momentum and we're not just starting from scratch. So I'm going to, if I can, go ahead and give an action step to everyone. You've been here, you've listened to all of this, sleep, hydration, movement, you've heard it here before, but let's start with our posture, because that's the easy button. You can do a couple backward shoulder rolls every hour while you're in front of your desk or when you're right before you walk into a meeting. And what that does is it gives you the posture check so that we're already in alignment. And then I would add to that, if you're already doing that, I would do a movement minute every hour, because that's something that's easy. It requires no preparation. All you need to do is stand up and sit down. That was super easy that Steph gave us. Or pumping you're doing some calf raises, doing some knee extensions. But let's start with the smallest, easiest step today so that we can start moving towards this. Okay, Steph, so this has been really fantastic. I really appreciate everything that you've brought here today. How can people reach out to you if they want to learn more about what you're doing, or they want to learn more about the Beamer or some of the other amazing technologies that you're involved in?
They can contact me through the website, or they can email me at stephanieshorr@icloud.com. That's Stephanieshorr@icloud.com. Take the free self-assessment. And that's probably the easiest way to start. There's no charge for that, no obligation for anything. And small steps are best. Don't try to do everything at once, because it's just not reasonable. We're so busy. Every little thing you do will accumulate into a healthier self. And I love the idea of starting with the posture. And my immediate thought went, well, now that you're in good posture, hold your core tight, do an isometric just in the core, and that will have an impact. That's all good. And hold the core all the way down to your hips. Hold that part of your body as tight as you can for maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds. No one can see it on screen, and you're helping your body.
I love it. No one can see it on screen. Get your core tight. No one can see it if you're doing your core isometrics at the boardroom table either. I am going to say that. Okay,
we have
Steph,
to do it when we can. We have to take advantage of the moment.
That's right. We are at the end of our show. Is there any last minute thing that you want to share? Anything else you want to share with our audiences today?
I would say, again, be gentle on yourself. Don't be too self-critical. Don't feel like you're a failure if you ate this or ate that. Just think, tomorrow's another day. I don't feel so great after eating that. I'm going to try to eliminate it.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure having you here. Thank you for everything you've brought today, Steph.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. And you, yes, you've already got your action step for the day. It's to get yourself in good posture, to hold yourself there, to do a little bit of movement every hour to make sure your blood is circulating so that you can continue to be energized through your day, to be more effective and efficient with everything you do. Don't wait. Start now. If you haven't done it already, now is the time. Do some backward shoulder rolls. Get yourself nice and uptight, and do a little core isometric. Tighten those muscles so that you can start the journey. Fortunately, all good things do come to an end, including this show. But the good news is we'll be here same time, same station next week. So until then, go win today, win this week, and we'll see you next time.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure, and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best